Verso di qua inquadrare così per la luce, quanto sei
In Africa,
magari fagli guardare un attimo le domande, have a look at the question.
Thank you.
In our city, and a special welcome from Justice, which is our NGO, which is willing to work in Sierra Leone in the area of McCain for women and children. And we use this occasion to ask you some information about your country and your special experience dealing with human rights and women rights, which is a special point.
That's really
The first question is about political situation in your country. M.M.Kamara, the opposition candidate in Sierra Leone election, was declared the winner after peaceful presidential election, and he campaigned with the aim of combating the widespread corruption and with the idea of delivering social service to all the Sierra Leone population. So, which is your opinion after the election and about this new president?
Okay, thanks for that question. As a civil society activist, a human rights activist, and a woman who is also very passionate about women issues in Sierra Leone, I fully participated in the election by mobilizing women to go and vote, and to vote for the desired change, for the very issues that led to the war, which is corruption, lack of transparency, lack of accountability, and the lack of government to provide those basic opportunities for Sierra Leonean people, especially women. Because now in the war, if you watch, Sierra Leone has a very high maternity rate. Women die because of lack of medical care, during pregnancy. And the new government, as you are rightly said, campaign, to ensure that those facilities are restored, to ensure the respect of the human person, respect for human rights, and to be able to provide those facilities for Sierra Leoneans. And I think that campaign card, that trump card, it helped him, because in a situation where people have suffered, they have been deprived of those basic, needs after a government had stayed in power for 10 years. And with that promise, with that hope, people, went out and voted for him in a very peaceful way. And there is hope, because when he came to power, he set up a transition team. In past governments, the moment there is a transition, you never meet the outgoing minister. It's only a permanent secretary that will hand over to a minister. But when he took over power, he wanted to ensure that there is a proper handing over, so that the outgoing minister hands over to the incoming minister. So the incoming minister will be able to track projects, know where things are, and what's the way forward. So that is the first thing he has done. And up till now, he has not appointed any cabinet ministers. He just set up a transition team. As a Sierra Leonean who had seen it all, who had been very active in all the electoral process and governance of this country, I think it is a very unique idea, so that people don't just walk out of offices without a proper system to ensure that you account for the funds, you account for the project for which that were delegated to you. So I think there is prospect in the new government, at least within the first 2 weeks after they took over office.
Thank you. And listening to your words, I think you touched a very important thing for us: the mobilization of civil society and the role of women. So in this new perspective, in this new scenario for your country, could be the role for women?
As I mentioned earlier, M.M.Kamara did not only use the reform card, he also encouraged women to come on board with the hope that he is going to make them partners in the development program. If you even watch, there are over 10 members of parliament in the APC government. And Even in the new administration, he has promised that he will make them partners. He will appoint them to positions of responsibility, not only as secretaries or clerk, which had been the traditional roles of women, but to more responsible positions like, you know, ministers of information or of economic planning, because the history has taught us that women can do it better. Because, you know, when you compare even the outgoing government, positions held by women were well managed, unlike those that were held by men that lacked, you know, accountability, so much corruption, because most of them, they want to get the money and send their girlfriends overseas, while the woman, you know, the focus is to develop the country. She wouldn't have a boy with so many boyfriends that she would want to send, you know, overseas. So the present government is very focused. And just recently, before I came, he held, you know, the market women, they mobilized. For the past 10 years, the State House, the official, you know, house of the president, had never been used. And what happened? The women mobilized and cleaned and scrubbed voluntarily that house to ensure that the new president uses it, because that is the link between the people and the government. So the women took that lead role, and he addressed them in a friendly manner to say, I'm ready to work with you. Regardless of your low level of education, you will also have a stake to play in my government. So that direction is very positive as far as this new government is concerned.
And in this scenario, which, according to your opinion, which could be the role for international assistance and international civil society actors like NGOs or international agencies?
Okay. I think one of the roles would be like playing, we're not a watchdog per se. Civil society should play the advocacy role, because they all have respective mandates. Some are to promote human rights, some are to promote civic education. But whatever their respective roles are, is to ensure that the government, when it's monitored somehow, if you like, to ensure that the promises they made in their manifesto be delivered to the people. After 100 days, civil societies will start questioning, Mr. President, you promised that within 100 days there will be electricity in the country. How far have we gone? You know, like a regular assessment, evaluation, to ensure that the promises you have made are really, you know, become practical. That could be one role the civil society can do, to monitor, to ensure that projects are implemented. And the international community can also do the same thing, play the monitoring role, as well as play the partnership role, because there are certain projects that the government will start. They will have the project at hand, but because they will lack the resources, coming from a 10-year war situation wherein the infrastructure, the economic situation collapsed, and just taking over from a bad government, you know, you will need the absolute support of the international community, even either financially or otherwise, to set up those very structures. Because the truth is, government, as far as I know them in my country, will not be able to address all the issues. Even issues of education. That is why even the Catholic mission comes in with their schools all over. Government will not be able to address all the issues of education. And if the international community, international organizations, you know, can identify some of those projects, they would be very good for the country. So we work in partnership. Like hospitals, people are dying every day. There are no medicines. When the international community come to partnership with Sierra Leone, and these medicines are brought, they don't only, you know, give the medicine, but they ensure